starting a remodel of a Corral project. Just you guys will see in the video what remodel means. We're talking about it. It's been coming for a little while, so it's going to be exciting to finally have this done. So I guess with that, we're going to roll clip, and hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Alright guys, to pause the video just a second, we forgot to mention we are going to be working cows in this Corral that we just freshly remodeled. So stay tuned to the end of the video. It should be epic. I guess with that, continue the video.
Alright, so I figured you all were wondering how we were getting along on the Corral. We've got a fence line in there, we got another fence line there, and we've got another one there. So we've got 3 different pins built so far. There's a 4th one down there that was already built from when we started this project. And so there's some gates. We got to hang all the gates in these holes. Let's see, we got this part done, if you can see that. And then down there we got all of it done. So we're trying to reuse the products that we had. So what we took was we took our old sucker rod that was on wood posts. We took pipe and put the sucker rod inside the pipe and then butted it up against it. Gave us a little bit more product to weld against. Also, if we had a bent piece, we just cut it out and butted it up. Cat, you're trying to be the star of the show. With pipe, it does a lot cleaner job. One thing that we've learned so that they aren't cow catchers is that we stick our pipes or sucker rods or anything that we're welding in the center of the pipe. It definitely makes a cleaner job, and then the cows rub around the pipe piece instead of actually hitting their hips or shoulders on this piece here. Also, I've heard it can't be done on continuous panels. We put this continuous panel line in, and we butted them centered in. We took that same pipe that we used for the sucker rod and actually put it on the inside of the continuous panel, because the continuous panel fits over the pipe and the sucker rod fits in the pipe. So that's really nice to have that same exact size of pipe, and it fits in all those different products. Nevertheless, we're buttoning it up, as you can see. Makes a clean end for it. As you can see, we did over here the exact same thing. We're going to put a little gate in there. We just haven't got our gates mounted yet. We're still working on that. But as you can see, we butted it in there. So with that said, that's what we're getting done. We're using a MIG HTP 240 welder, and we're using a little generator to keep it started. The generator definitely works awesome for what we're doing. We're using a wire that is actually flux cord MIG wire. What that means is that this wire pre-comes with gas already made into it, so even if it's windy, you can weld with a MIG welder. MIG does a cleaner job than a stick welder does, in our opinion, and so that's why we're using this. It's a little more expensive than the standard wire, but you can do a lot better job of welding and a lot more permanent job of welding. So with that said, that's why we're using it. Normally, if you don't have that flux cord wire, you would use standard wire and then use the gas on the gas bottle on the back. The reason we don't use that now is because the wind can get up to 20 to 30 mile an hour here where we're welding, and that's pretty common where we're located, and so it kind of gets hard to keep the gas in the welder tip, which if you can see here, that's the way the welder tip is made, so it's kind of hard to keep the gas in that. It's kind of hard to see because of the dark, but you know, it's just hard to keep it all together, and you have to have gas to combust and make the other wire weld, so that's why we use that flux cord wire. Also, our plan is to do like we did on this pin. It's called a slam latch system, so instead of dealing with a gate or with a chain, because sometimes chains aren't quick enough for some things, we use a slam latch system that works awesome, that just clicks right in, and it clicks and it latches, and the cattle cannot get that out. And it goes the other way too. And if you're in a real hurry, you can just snap it past. So then, if you're gotta let the cow out, you definitely can get it done very quickly. So that's just a safety latch we really love on putting on a Corral, and so we're gonna put that on there as well. It kind of helps it all just work together. I don't know, we're gonna see if we can't put one here. If there's not enough room here, what we normally do, because some people do like the tighter against the post, as you can see there's a little width here. We just take a torch and blow a hole in the side of the pipe, grind it smooth and so it clicks with a hole, and then put a piece of metal behind it. It latches right in, and you don't have that piece sticking out, especially if you've got a tighter gate part, especially since this actually feeds into our chute system. And so you want everything pretty tight, because otherwise the calf can try to get his head under it or in between it or something. So we keep it as tight as possible. We also did it there, if you can see that. So, and just so you guys know, this is our Corral. This isn't We don't do this for custom. This is just something we do to keep up, so we keep it safe for the cattle and also for the cowboys that are working in here, so there's nothing dangerous. So we're just rebuilding the corral. We've had a corral here, and we've got our fair share out of it, but it's 20 years old, so it was time to get some new products in there. So there it is. So I just thought I'd keep you updated on this. The first thing, now that we're done with the corral, I thought I'd go through and kind of show you guys what we did and the reasons we did it. The first thing I wanted to say was that we made our alley 10 foot 4 inches wide. The reason for that is if you go too wide, then they try to go past you and they aren't scared of you when you're sorting. And if you make it too narrow, then you've got more of a likeliness of getting kicked. So with that said, we can only put 10 foot gates in, so we had to add 4 inches on each gate. As you can see there, we had to weld and add 4 inches to make the gate 4 inches longer. So then we're going to go over here and we put sucker rod on. We repurposed the sucker rod. That's why you might see a little bit of a wave or something, is because we did cut out the bad pieces and we did repurpose it, but that is the reason that this is the way it is. We put top caps on all of our posts, and we actually had to add on a little bit onto this gate due to the reason that that's how the pipes worked out. It's not that we measured wrong, it's just that how it worked out for the circumstance it was in. We needed to get our posts. Our old post holes, as you can see, were right in here. Well, we wanted to get the other posts far enough away that they didn't collapse back into the old post holes, so we had to stagger. Well, to stagger our post holes when we wanted the corner post the same spot means that we had to make a small gap there and then stagger every 7 foot like we did. So that's why the gate hole's there, and that's why it is the size it is. Also, we made every gate so that if I undo this one and I swing it back around, we made every gate so it hits the fence. So no matter if you're swinging to cut a cow off and you know you can't run, and so you just swing the gate, it always hits the fence and can't go past it. That's another reason we're using actually 12-foot gates here on a 10-4 alley, so it gives us a little bit of an angle. Definitely very handy in the reason we did that. We also made a gap here just to make our pin a little bit bigger. We put our gates on each side and welded in a gap piece there. We did overhead. The reason we did overhead is because it just definitely makes the gate hole stronger each time. And I better go get a gate for him, so we'll catch you back in a second. Another thing I wanted to mention on this side of the corral before we moved on is that we put this gate here because then we can dump them straight out back into pasture. Also, our plans are someday we're going to make a big pen out here to dump them out in, so then they don't all have to be standing in the sorting pens. So we're going to walk on down through the corral. We did our top caps, if you can see that. We reused a top cap pipe, but we did our top caps and then did 6 sucker rods. It works the best. We like the sucker rods just because we were reusing them, and so reusing material doesn't cost near as much as buying new, as you all know, because we've already have it. So that's why we're doing that. And then we use continuous panels here where I'm showing you as well. So this is a 10-foot gate. Again, we had to add on a little bit to put enough hole gaps, filler, so we can close the alleyway because it's 10-4. And we're going to move on here. I'm going to show you guys something else we did. Because our yellow chute, our foremost head gate, and our black chute, or alleyway, is set up there, we needed something that was going to close off the gap when we're sorting cows. And I'm going to be back with you probably momentarily if I can't get this unchained. There we go. Alright, so when we go, and we need a gate to swing over to the corner of that head gate, what we did is we just spliced 2 gates together. So if you can see that, we just spliced a 10-foot gate and a 6-foot gate together so we can come all the way over here and there's our way to shoot the cows out of the alleyway. And we're going to have a pin out here like I explained earlier, and we're going to shoot them dead out that hole there. We're going to work awesome. So that's why we did that. So then when we're sorting, we can sort right out of the head gate. Nobody's got to run down the corral alleyway and open a gate. So for instance, if you're preg checking heifers and you have a bred heifer, you can dump her straight out into this pen. And if you have an open heifer, you can go and close this gate and dump her straight down the alleyway into an already pre-opened pen. So then nobody has to run down the alleyway like I explained earlier. So that's just one thing we did. I know it's not a new concept to bifold gates, but it's a new concept on this farm because we're rebuilding the corral and we just thought it would work very handy. That is the reason we did that. All right, also, with the last thing I'm probably going to comment on for a while, as we run the cattle in, we'll run them out of this pen, down the alleyway, and shoot them into these pens. Well, we work them out of these two pens, meaning we'll put cattle in this pen and we'll put cattle in this pen that we plan to be shoving down the chute and down the head gate. So, y'all can see this. Because this pen's small enough, we can actually kind of manhandle them in and around down through the chute. But this pen is too big for us, one guy, to be pushing the cattle through the chute. So what we did was, we welded an 18-foot gate on the corner, and then we could just push around to where actually this gate is enough of a wing wall on this pen that there's only going to be a 6-foot gap for a man to actually have to guard, which is definitely going to be handy. So I better get out of here because I'm kind of spooking these heifers that are in here.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video of the remodeling the corral and the working cows in the remodeled corral. If you guys like the video and content, please like, subscribe, comment, follow us on Instagram. That's Cowboy Ranch Life channel. With that, have a great day, and we'll catch you on the next one.